Hello everybody, hello Chaos friends. Today in GeneralJannis Chaos Tactics I'm looking at the World Eaters faction focus and are you ready to play some Khorne Yatzee? So with no further ado, let's get started. So today the 12th of May, working on gold trimming my 8 war dogs. So that's quite a big task, but it's nice to have something also to keep busy when whilst waiting for news from Warhammer community. But as I said in this video, looking at the World Eaters faction focus, starting at their army rules, and I calculated all the dice probabilities that you need to know about regarding the new blessings. Then looking at the Berzerkers, Angron, and then calculating quickly the weapons damage output that we have seen so far for World Eaters. Before I start, as always, very big thanks to my patrons, thanks to every YouTube supporter, and thanks to everybody in the Discord channel. So looking at the World Eaters army rules, the army rule is the Blessings of Khorne. And basically what you do with this new rule is that you roll 8 dice at the start of the battle round, not your turn. So this is quite important to keep in mind because you can use some of these blessings defensively. And then you have to look for doubles, triples, etc. And then you can select up to 2 blessings from the World Eaters army rules. And here you have 6 different things to choose from. Any double would give you 2-inch to the move characteristic, so making the whole army a bit faster. Any double would give you a 6+ feel no pain. If you already have feel no pain, you basically get improved +1 feel no pain rule. Then moving up to martial excellence, this gives exploding 6s for the melee weapons, and this doesn't require only one double roll. You need double 3 or higher, so double 3s, double 4s, etc. Then we go to total carnage. So this is fight on death on a 4+ in melee. If you are attacked and your models are killed off, you can you have to. If you have used this, then you can be fighting back on death. This requires double 4s or any triple. So having fun selecting the dice here, and then you have the work blades that gives you the on a double 5s or any triple. This gives the melee weapons for lethal hits ability. This means auto wounding on 6s to hit. That can be quite good against vehicles, of course. And then the last one, maybe the strongest, you on double 6s or triple 4+s, you can give every unit in the army the probability to declare a charge after, even if they have advanced. So this is quite strong. And next to this army rule, I have calculated I made 1,000 simulations on my computer, rolling 8 dice and calculating doubles, triples, and etc. So of course, with 8 dice, you have 100% chance to get any double. It's impossible not to get doubles. Twice any double, this is 98%. So almost all the time, you would be able, if you wanted, to select the Rage, Fuel, Invigoration, and the Wrathful Devotion that require any doubles. If you want to select the Sustain Hits, which is quite good, on average 25% more damage output with exploding 6s, this gives a 95% chance, quite high chance to have at least some doubles, 3 or higher, also 95% chance here. And then for the total carnage, to get double 4s, this is 84% chance. To get any triple is 70% chance. To get either the double 4s or any triple, this is almost guaranteed, 97% chance. So that's quite also easy to give the whole army this fight on death possibilities. Then moving on to the lethal hits, the auto wounding. Now we have double 5s or any triple. Again, double 5s, this is around 70%, and any triple 70%. But combining those two, it achieves quite a high probability here. So 92% of the time, you would be able to pull off the war plates without using any rerolls. Then if we go to the last one, double 6s or triple 4s or higher, this is 40%, let's say, for double 6s, 37% for triple 4s. But if you either or double 6s or triple 4s plus, this is 60% chance you can pull that off. Berzerkers, what they said, the Berzerkers with icons that are staying on objectives give you some rerolls, so that could improve. If you don't get what you need, you could probably reroll 1-2 dice. And then resurrecting Angron, this requires a 666, as we will talk about later. This the probability for that rolling 8 dice to get 666s with no rerolls is 13%. If you have one reroll, you would reroll, let's say, one dice. If you have a double 6, that will be around 20% probability if you have one reroll. And the more rerolls you have, of course, the probability increases. We don't know of the detachment ability, so here it's gone. Let's say the Blood Tithe points are gone, and we don't see any rules that gives the World Eaters more attacks and more strength on charging, but we haven't seen the detachment ability. Could that include some more attacks for the World Eaters? So now looking at the Berzerkers datasheet that was previewed. So basically we have the Khorne Berserkers, like today, have a very similar base stats as the Intercessors. They are equipped with bolt pistols, and some of them probably can get some plasma pistols. Those stats are basically unchanged. And then if we move into the melee weapons, which of course are the Berserkers' main strength, we see that their chain blades now are strength 5, AP minus 1, damage 1. So the AP has been reduced by 1. And they only have the 4 attacks here. The champion doesn't get an extra attack. And we don't know, there is no rule stating here that you could get more attacks from themselves or detachment abilities. Of course, they can benefit from the blessings like the rest of the army. And then if we look at the Khorne Eviscerator, interestingly enough, this has lower number of attacks than the chain blade. So this is only 3 attacks. And then this has lost 2 pips of AP. Today it's 4 AP minus 4. So all in all, we have less attacks on the charge. Could that be counteracted by some detachment ability? We know that Angron can give some more attacks with an aura, but nothing to be shown here. Blood Surge works kind of like today. It says that you cannot do it unless you are battle shocked. And if the transport has been exploded and they are shot at, they cannot do this because then they become automatically battle shocked. If you take the icon of Khorne, this is, and you are on objective with the Berzerkers, this gives you the ability to reroll the blessing dice, as we saw in the previous page. And then looking at the Demon Primarch himself, Angron's datasheet, we see Angron receiving an increase in toughness as expected. Being an epic hero monster, he becomes toughness 11. But interestingly enough, he gets less wounds, so from 18 wounds today to 16 wounds. And he also gets less movement, 14 inches instead of today's 16 inches. So not as good in that department. He still has a 2+ save, and he gets a 2+ save and let's say a 4+ invulnerable save. But then big difference when we look at his melee weapons. We see a much lower number of attacks than currently. Currently, his sweep attack is 36 attacks on the baseline, 12 attacks with his strike profile. This becomes 18 sweep attacks or 8 strike attacks, but the sweep now is damage 2. That, of course, helps the damage output versus most targets. And the strike becomes now d6 plus 2 damage instead of d3 plus 3 damage. Bit more swingy, but also the possibility to do more damage. Quite good weapon with strength 16, AP minus 4. And then the ability now that he can come back, not a Blood Tithe ability. He can come back on full wounds if you give a 666, if you have a 666 on the blessing dice with some rolls, as you show. That could be possible, and bringing back a full life Angron could be quite intimidating for the opponent. Like the other epic heroes, he has 3 auras that you can select from. Angrons you don't select in the command phase, but in the charge phase. So one of the auras, 6 inch for all world leaders to get +1 to the charge roll, can be really strong. He can also give everybody within 6 inches +1 attacks, helping the Berzerkers, for example, as we saw previously, or he can give them a reroll all to hit in melee. So close to Angron, with these auras, there will be quite a lethal zone for the opponent. Now looking at the World Eater's damage output, here I just focused primarily on the melee weapons, didn't care to calculate the bolt pistol. In this table, you can see for each weapon the expected average damage, expected damage on a variety of targets that we've seen so far from the 10th edition. And if you see a number like 0,7, that means 0.7. The point is the comma is a decimal point in the Excel I'm using. So we're starting with Berzerkers chain blade. So one Berserker can do 0.9 wound on an intercessor. So basically, two unbuffed Berserkers needed to kill almost one intercessor, and not super high damage with this weapon. It can kill 1.5 Termagants, one of the Berserkers, but of course a big squad of Berserkers can be buffed. For example, if Angron is nearby, and if we use the selected the appropriate blessings. Here I'm just comparing, especially for the chain blade. If we give it lethal hits, so basically auto wounding on 6s to hit, we see that we can get better damage output, especially versus vehicles compared to the baseline, and also compared to the third line, which shows the sustained hits. So if you're fighting against vehicles, then lethal hits are better than sustained hits. If you're fighting versus infantry, sustained hits is better. Of course, combining both will give you the best of both worlds. And here we see then in the fourth line we have the Khorne Eviscerator. Only 3 attacks, unfortunately. Better damage output, especially versus 2 wound models like the intercessors. More damage output, but not as much better as the current Khorne Eviscerator. And then moving on to the Primarch with Seminarius and the Spine Grinder. If we are using the strike attack, Angron can really put a lot of hurt on versus, for example, marine vehicles here like rhinos, etc. He will be almost doing 25 wounds, and he can kill, let's say, 8 intercessors with his sweep profile, or a lot of infantry. But he can only, let's say, kill 2.5 Terminators, so not as strong as he is with the current rules. But of course, he can buff himself. This is unbuffed, and he could be also benefiting from the blessings and benefiting more from his own auras. Finally, the skull cannons, the Demon Gore cannon, and here this is a D6 shot weapon, a bit swingy, but on average it could be doing 9 wounds versus vehicles, and yeah, not as strong, of course, as the melee weapons of the World Eaters. Reaching now to the summary and final thoughts. Yeah, what can I say? A bit mixed news for the World Eaters. Current as the latest world codex that came out in 9th, I kind of liked how that was built. I think the current rules with the Blood Tithe point that keep building up your buffs as the game goes along, and more units are killed, yours or your enemies. I think that felt much more thematic than the Yatzee type mechanic for blessing, throwing 8 dice and going for doubles and triples. Maybe in the next edition they'll give you a benefit if you have 5 of a kind. You might maybe get some victory points. Yeah, jokes aside. But anyway, even if I was a bit more skeptical of this type of mechanics, anyway, the math shows that you overall have some good odds to get something useful that you want. You can also be using them defensively from turn 1, even if your opponent goes first. You could roll. You would get any double. You can just give them 6+ feel no pain army wide. That's probably not very bad. And then the very important maybe advance and charge. This has 60% chance. So probably the mechanics for the World Eaters would go to need at least some Berserkers with icons holding objectives to give you some rerolls and giving you more chances to get the good blessings that you want. On the stat side and the data sheets, this seems to be like a mixed bag. Lower number of attacks, as we can see. Could detachment rules fill that gap? Angron can come back with full wounds. That's of course a plus, but overall a bit slower. Some less wounds, etc. So all in all, so far from all the Chaos factions we have seen, Chaos Demons, I think those rules were the best that we have seen so far. With World Eaters a bit could be useful, but of course we don't know everything yet. But not as solid in my opinion. Just from this preview. So this concludes the video. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe my channel, helping the channel grow. I hope you appreciate the math hammering and my opinions on these topics. If you want to support my efforts, please visit my Patreon page or become a YouTube member. And if you want to ask questions or have more discussions, please visit my Discord channel, link in the description. So with these words, GeneralJannis signing out. Stay safe out there, and bye-bye.